In a region where war is still a fresh memory for many people, here is a story not about fighting, but about who grows the best vegetables. David Ebenoidze is a farmer in the Caucasus region of Georgia. The former Soviet Republic became independent in 1991 and converted to a market economy. This is David's story about saving water and sharing experience, also across borders in Armenia and Azerbaijan. David's fields are an hour's drive from the Georgian capital, Tbilisi.
We're going on our way to the wholesale market. People come from Tbilisi, Gori. They come 50, 60, even 300 kilometers to sell their goods here.
The Tbilisi market is a meeting point for this region's Armenian, Azeri, Georgian and Russian communities. David tells us that everyone buys and sells peacefully, side by side. There's no quarrelling. Things weren't always like that. The southern Caucasus was a bloody conflict zone in the 1990s. Georgia ripped through two crises when first South Ossetia and then Abkhazia seceded. Then in 2008 there was more fighting over South Ossetia. EU experts found Georgia mostly responsible, though also faulted Russia for its substantial military deployment. On the other side of the border, Azerbaijan and Armenia were at war for 3 years over the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Even with a ceasefire in 1994, the neighbors are uneasy with each other today. The conflict hasn't been completely put to rest. Gerrit Hogenboom is an American researcher supervising the NATO Science for Peace and Security program in the region. His colleagues are from Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. At the Georgian Water Management Institute, they've been working for 3 years on new farm irrigation, design, analysis and assessment. Using water wisely makes more than economic and ecological sense. It reduces risk of possible future conflicts.
Rivers don't really understand political boundaries, and in many cases rivers will start in one country and then move into another country. So there are big issues about who gets to the water first and who uses it. So, I mean, there's a high likelihood that future wars will be fought over water and not over territory boundaries. So this particular project is to look at improvement of irrigation, and especially trying to introduce modern irrigation techniques such as drip irrigation.
Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia share some geographical and hydrological characteristics. They are mountainous, with dry climates, and are irrigated by the same rivers, mainly the Kura and its tributary, the Aras. Fada Imanov is an Azeri hydrometeorologist. He also is in the front line promoting new ways.
You see, Azerbaijan uses around 2/3 of its water just for agriculture. With the dry climate, we don't have enough water, and we use it badly. Our technology is old. That affects the harvest.
It's the same all over. Without better use of the water available, Armenia's agricultural efficiency falls short of its potential.
I'm here today because for Armenia, water efficiency is a priority. Our statistics show nearly 100,000 hectares of usable land is not being irrigated or cultivated for lack of water.
High hopes from the Science for Peace and Security program here are general.
We have a problem in Georgia's use of water. The resources are concentrated in western Georgia, with very little in eastern Georgia. The Americans and Georgians have agreed that all this project's positive solutions will be applied in our 3 experimental centres.
The group heads for Tbilisi to see David's fields. He has given the researchers access to 6 of his 60 hectares for the past 2 years. This allowed testing and assessment to develop the most suitable irrigation for the local conditions. The experiment started with a mini weather station.
Здесь вы видите агрометеорологическую станцию.
Here's the hydrometeorological station we got with money from NATO.
Поддержкой НАТО.
The instruments measure the temperature and humidity down to 1 meter's soil depth.
На 20 сантиметров.
We get 5.6 at 20 centimeters and 9.6 at 10 centimeters. It's the only station of its kind in the whole of the southern Caucasus.
Вот эта станция дает все возможности для того,
It lets us work out what to do tomorrow.
что делать.
Should we irrigate
Завтра
or not?
надо делать орошаться или не надо орошаться.
For David, this technological support was revolutionary.
Я до этого всегда поливал традиционным методом.
Until now, I always did my watering the traditional way. I opened the ditch and used a shovel. That used about 15 times as much water as with drip irrigation.
Traditional irrigation ignored water resources as a whole and could even be counterproductive because overwatering meant farmers also had to fight mold and harvested less in the end. Drip irrigation combined with mulching, which keeps down weeds and holds moisture in the soil, convinced David with practical proof.
With
this drip irrigation, you don't have just 1, but 12 or 16 harvests.
The farmer is happy to open his doors wide and show others, wherever they come from, the benefits of drip irrigation.
When the people come, they see things which are new and take the ideas home. Without politics, Armenians, Azeris, here we are all friends. We drink to each other. Armenians and Azeris sit down side by side.
For any remaining skeptics, David has a sensual more than scientific argument. He proposes they taste his fruit and vegetables. In his words, NATO salad.
Здесь сейчас